What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Fatty's Barbecue. I'm Eric Cantu, guys. Thank y'all again for joining in. I know it's been a while, but here we are. We got the IVS rocking and rolling. Today, it's time to smoke up a turkey. Okay, so today we are doing a turkey. It's already nighttime. I should have had this thing going a little bit earlier. The problem was I was out of propane and I didn't want to start it with my little chimenea. I wanted to actually use a propane tank to, like I normally do. But everybody was out of propane, so I think everybody and their mama was deep frying turkeys the other day on Thanksgiving and used up all the propane that's out there in the stores. So I finally got me a propane tank. We got this thing started, but it is later than I thought. It's about 4 o'clock right now. This thing's been running for about 30 minutes since I actually fired it up, and we're still not up to temp. We're only at 150 and I want to get to 300. So it's going to take me another 30 minutes or so to get this guy up to temp. Once we're there, I'm going to show you guys how I season the bird. I already have it spatchcock. It's been sitting in brine for about 2 days now, and I'll show you my brining process and what I did for that. Super easy. I got that recipe from Alton Brown online from Good Eats. That's like probably 4 or 5 years old recipe, but I use it every year because I love it. It always makes the turkeys come out juicy. So I'll show you that process, and then I'll show you the seasoning that I'm going to use. We're going to be using some poultry seasoning, some butter. We're going to put some butter underneath the skin, and we're going to go over with some Uncle Chris on the top. Love Uncle Chris, especially when it gets that little caramelized on the top, when it gets a little crispy. Uncle Chris is awesome. So we're going to put Uncle Chris on the skin, and we're also going to peel back the skin. We're going to put some on the meat, on the thighs, on the meat underneath, and hopefully this turkey will come out really good. And I'm hoping it'll be done in about 3 hours, but I don't think so. It might go about 4 to 5 hours because it's a pretty big turkey. All right, again, so this is a 24-pound turkey. It's a fresh turkey, as you can see here. I don't like buying them frozen. I like to get them fresh. And so we're just gonna go ahead and pop this guy open. I guess my little bubble knife's a little dull. Let me go ahead and sharpen it up real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna use this knife to score it, and I'm gonna use my scissors, my shears, to try to get through that bone. I'm gonna pull out the giblets, all right, pull that out, look around, see if there's anything else in there. Shouldn't be. You can go ahead and take this part off. They kind of like to tuck the legs in here. Just pop that off. Right, so now it's wide open, and you can see this is the neck. So pull that out. That's it. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to want to cut this spine out right here. All right. So it's going to come here. See it nice and sharp. All right. Score down here. So this is where I'm going to be cutting with my shears right here. So I got my shears. Again, it's kind of hard since I do have the camera going, so I'm like at an angle, but we're just gonna cut on right through it. Just pretty tough. You know, if you got better shears, highly suggest getting better shears. So like that part right there, you see that little bone right there? That's kind of hard to cut through with these shears, right? You gotta take your time. There's that bone right there. We'll just keep working our way down. And these are kind of old shears too. I could go for some new ones. If any of y'all have a recommendation for some good boning shears, let me know. You know, other things you can do is like you can, hit it if you need to. If you have a bigger chopping knife, you can actually use that. I do not have a butcher's knife to pound right through it, and I don't want to mess up my Bubba knife, so I gotta kind of battle through these here. There we go. Alright, not the most orthodox way to do it, but if you have some really good shears, it just shows you, let me just show you the do's and don'ts, right? So this is like a don't. You don't want to do it this way. Get you some really good shears. I forgot what I what I usually use is those shears to get through the front, and then I have the sheet metal shears that I use. They're actually made for sheet metal, but I already packed those away. We're going to be moving here pretty soon. I packed them away, so I don't have it. Anyway, here it is. Spine is out. Okay, so we're going to put that to the side. Okay, so now you can see we're nice and open here. We're going to cut right here. Okay, right here. You're going to cut a little bit. Right, just kind of scoring it. You could do it in your sink, or I like doing it in my sink because I like to keep all the mess here around the sink so I can wash this instead of all over the place. But you just get this guy here, right? A little feather. Pull that feather out, and you just CPR. That's it right there. Here you see how it's split down the middle. I scored a line here, turned it around, popped it, but that's it. Your turkey is now spatchcocked, nice and flat. So when you cook it, it's going to cook nice and flat, nice and even. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to get the brine mix ready. We're going to put all the brine in a 5-gallon bucket. We're going to put this turkey inside the 5-gallon bucket, and we're going to let it sit overnight. You can let it sit for up to 2 days if you want. It'll be pretty, very, very juicy and very, very tasty. Now this right here, I don't know if y'all can see that. This is the brine. Okay, I've let it cool down to room temperature already. If you want, you can put it in the refrigerator for a couple days beforehand. But I'll show you all the ingredients that go in there, but it's basically 4 packages of vegetable stock or broth, right? You can see the camera, look, there's the camera. 4 packages of vegetable stock or broth, which are 32 ounces each, so total of a gallon. And then you put a cup of kosher salt, then you put half cup brown sugar, you put a tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, which are these guys right here. Then you put some allspice, you put a half tablespoon of that, and a half tablespoon of candied ginger. Now this is straight from Alton Brown. That dude is awesome, very scientific when it comes to his cooking, and I tried it out and it was wonderful. So that's all I do. You mix it all together, you let it boil. Once it comes to a boil, you make sure everything's pretty much dissolved. The only thing I won't dissolve is obviously those peppercorns, and then sometimes the candied ginger. You can kind of see the little white specks in there. That won't necessarily dissolve all the way, right? Once it's done, you just let it get to room temp, you know. So you want to do this earlier in the day, keep it covered, make sure no dust or bugs or nothing falls in it, and that's it. So that's what we're going to be using for the brine, and I'll show you that here in a little while when we put it in the 5-gallon bucket. Alright, we got the 5-gallon bucket ready to go. So let's get our brine, and let's try not to spill it. So, brine in the bucket. I usually use a whole thing of ice from my. Alright. We're going to put about a gallon of ice water total in there. Alright. We're going to pour the water in there. Alright. Then, mix it around a little bit. And coming with our turkey. Let's put that guy right in there. Just like that. Alright, so this can go in the refrigerator if you want. If you got room for a 5-gallon bucket. If not, you can just put it somewhere where it's cool, like you know, the garage or something. If it's cold outside, you can put it in there. But give it at least 24 hours. Sometimes I do like 2 days. But this time I'm gonna do 24 hours, and this is just an old bait bucket that I had. Just washed it out. You know, just make sure you're not using paint and, you know, all that gross stuff. You know, 5-gallon buckets, or just buy yourself a bucket strictly for this. So anyway, I'm gonna cover this up. That's it. It's gonna go in my refrigerator. 24 hours later, we're gonna come back when it's ready to put this thing on the grill. All right, guys, so here is our turkey. Okay, this is a 24-pound turkey, 23.9 blah blah blah, but anyway, about 24 pounds. It's been sitting in the brine for 48 hours. Okay, I thought I was just going to do about 12 hours to 24 hours, but we got a little busy, so I went ahead and let it go the 48 hours. And so now we're going to cook this tonight. And like I said, this has been in my refrigerator, just sitting there. So this thing's going to be ready to go. We're going to pull it out right now, and what I'm going to do is kind of dry it off a little bit, get all this brine off of it, cut any extra little skin that's hanging that might burn off, trim that off, and that's about it. We're going to hit it up with the Uncle Chris and the poultry seasoning, put some butter underneath the skin, and we're going to throw it in the IVS. So let's get going. All right, so we're going to go with some of this Uncle Chris seasoning, some of this regular old poultry seasoning, and some butter. And that's what we're going to be rocking with. Alrighty, there's our turkey. I'm going to cut this off because I don't ever need that. That's just the butt part, don't need it. Alright, and you can see the leg went a little crazy already, so that's pretty much the way it's going to look right there. I'm going to try to take off some excess brine that might be on here somewhere. It won't hurt it, but you know, I just try to take it off so the butter and the seasoning will stick a little better. You know, this right here, I'm gonna cut this off here. Right, so let's just go ahead and cut that off. Alrighty, that's pretty much it right there. Usually, I like to work towards me, so hopefully you guys can see this. It's a little more difficult with the camera. Y'all wouldn't normally be doing this on your own, but what I do is I peel this back a little bit, the skin, just kind of get my finger in there, and I peel it back just like that, and then you get some of that poultry seasoning in there. Right down there. Same thing on this side. Come in here, peel it back, and it's okay if you peel back the skin. Okay, it's not going to hurt it. The back. Hopefully y'all can see this. Poultry seasoning in there. All right. Pull it back more. Go with the Uncle Chris. All right. Cover that up. Uncle Chris over the top. We're going to put one of these butter things in there. And these butter things in there. And just be liberal. You can put butter on it if you want to. You can put some butter over the skin. Sometimes people like to put, what do you call it? Olive oil. You put some olive oil on it. You know. All right, let's turn it this way. Here's the same thing over here. We're gonna hit poultry seasoning here. Chris seasoning. Some liberal all over that. Peppercorns. And flip it back over. And then what I'm also going to do is I come in here and push this leg out. Just like that. See that pocket? Go in there. Poultry seasoning in there. Go to Uncle Chris. Butter tab in that pocket. Push this. Poultry seasoning. Uncle Chris. Right. Cover that up. Then come with the thing of butter. And put that in there. Then we're going to tuck these. Sometimes it's easy to tuck Sometimes it's not. But that's just to keep them burning. If they burn, they burn. But that's pretty much it right there. As much seasoning as you want. It's gonna become a nice golden brown. You know, if you feel you got too much of this skin, like right here, we could trim this off, right? So I can get this, come here, cut that off right there, right? Same thing with that. Now this is a little awkward because I'm trying to cut for the camera, so it's not really by me where I would normally be sitting or standing, so it's a little bit awkward, right? But you guys, I think, can get the gist of what it looks like. This is a spatchcock turkey. Like I said, I'm gonna try to tuck these up a little bit underneath if I can. If not, no big deal. We got the butter here, got a butter here, and a butter here. If you want, you can put one right down the middle if you want. So that's it. This thing is seasoned up. It's been brining for 48 hours. Now we're ready to put this on the grill. All right, there we go. Get this turkey on there. Lay it nice and flat, right? I don't think I'm going to worry about these arms. They keep flipping up. I want them to stay tucked behind, but for whatever reason, I can't get it to stay. Yeah, try that. One last try. Be extra hardcore. There. Hopefully that'll stay. All right. Now, get this guy pushed in. Okay. There we go. So that's it. Our turkey is in. We are up to temp. So now I'm just gonna get that foil, put it down here with a little bit of water in there, put it underneath so it can catch the giblets, and that's it. But I'm gonna close this up so I don't lose too much heat. I'm not going to put tons of water in there just because the grease and stuff will start dropping on it. I don't want it to be overflowing with grease. But that's it right there. We're going to let that sucker cook. If you look right here, there we go. If you look, see that spatchcock turkey's on there? It's all seasoned up. It's going to be a few hours, maybe about 4 hours or so. We're going to let that thing cook and see where it gets. I'm going to put the temperature probes in there probably in a little while also. Turkey's looking nice. You can see that. You get one probe. You go right in this breast. Oh man, that breast was pretty tender. And then we're gonna get one. You go in the thigh. Try to stay away from the bone, of course. And the last probe, we're going to go in the other thigh over here, just like that. We're going to throw those up top. On the top, rest is up top. That's it. So I put 3 probes in there, just so we can see if they're all cooking evenly. Right. Kind of hard to do here. Hard to do with one hand. That. Flip it up top. That's it, just like that. Let that thing cook. Alrighty, we are going to check the temp on this guy. Let's go here. Smelling really good. Looking really good. See that? So let's go here with the thigh. About 174, so we got a little bit more time on that. And on this side, we're at about 170. And the breast, we're at 158. So we still got about, I want to say about another 30 to 45 minutes, if that. Close this up. All right. Yeah. All right. So as y'all saw, that bird's looking really good right now. It's about 170 on the thighs, and I want it to get to 185, and it's about 158-ish in the breast, and we want that at 165. So I think it's gonna get there at the temperature at around the same time. Sorry, I got a car going by. I think it's gonna get there around the same time, okay? Once it hits those temps, we're gonna pull the bird and we're gonna just let it rest. I'm gonna give it at least 30 minutes to rest, let the juices just kind of settle, and then we'll slice into it and cook it up. Hopefully the wife's inside making mashed potatoes on the sides. If not, we're just gonna be eating some turkey. My goodness, that is looking good. Looks like that skin's getting nice and crispy. See how it's catching mostly everything down here. If we wanted to, we could make some gravy out of that, but I'm not, because I had water in there, so I didn't want to dilute it. But I mean, that's looking really good. So let's just take a temp real quick, because I think we're pretty close. And oh, it smells so good. Woo-hoo! All right, so let me just leave it about right there. I don't want to drip juice all over the place. So we're going in the breast here. 166. We want to be at 165, so we're good there. Let's try it over here. 168. So we're done there. You can see how it's starting to you know, pull up here from the bone. That's a good sign. The thigh, we want to be about 185. Or about 190 right there. 185. Look at that. It's perfect. Little less. It'll come up to temp. 190-ish. Sorry, it's the light reflecting on that. 194. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. It's gonna go into my little pan right here. We're gonna put it inside, wrap it up, and let it sit for another 30 minutes. All right, we're trying this again, because when I tried pulling it out, it was just so falling apart that we're gonna have to cut the legs and separate it, okay? So I got my trusty knife here, and we're just gonna cut. I'm gonna pull this leg. I mean, you can see it's just the skin that's keeping it on, right? So pull that guy. Here we go. Beautiful. Put that guy in there. Okay, this leg over here, well, that just came off. We're gonna put this guy in here. Looking good. I'm gonna put him right there. Then I'm gonna put the main bird right here in the middle. All right, so now we're gonna make the attempt of getting this big guy here. Oh, look at that, guys. Ooh, that looks good. Looks like it got a little dry there from where the skin came back, but hopefully the inside is nice and juicy. But that's the cook right there. It's looking pretty good. Get these gloves off and let them get them clean. And if you look there right here, definitely looks like the skin got a little dried out, like it peeled back. But if you look right here, you look how juicy that looks. So I'm sure once we cut into it, I'm gonna wrap this. And once we wrap it, we let it rest for a little while. I'm sure once we cut into that breast, it's gonna be super juicy. So all right, let me go and let this rest. It's been resting for about 30 minutes. We're gonna take the foil off and hope that it came out nice and juicy. All right, there's our turkey right there. I think that looks pretty darn good. It smells really good, and Scarlett is getting mad at me. She's like, hurry up, I want to eat already. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to cut. It's kind of hard because the camera's right here, the tripod's right here, so it's not a very good angle. But I'm gonna try my best to cut at an angle here to go in. See, I like to cut this way and this way, and then you can cut down. All right. It's just hard. I could put it over here and cut it, but I just don't want to. I'm being lazy. So here we go. This looks really good right here. Woo! Need some gloves. Still hot. But look at that. That's looking nice and juicy. I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna get tear this little piece. Look right here. Woo! Just comes right apart. And we're gonna try this out. It is hot. But it looks like that brine worked really well. Look at that, it looks real soft, real pliable, right? So I'm gonna let that cool off right there. cut us another slice. Might even need to sharpen my knife. Baby, can you give me my knife sharpener? Here we go. Let's come back down this way. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Look at that. Whee! It's still hot though. I mean, you can technically let this rest for an hour or longer, you know. But look at that. That looks really good. Look at that, just falling apart. Let's see if I can show you again. Right here, nice and juicy. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's kind of hard to see on the camera with the light, trying to get close on, right? Put that there. Whew. Look at this guy. Look at that. I'm just going to take a bite of this real quick. Oh, I'm going to do the hasha fasha. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is just like butter. Here, try this, Violet. What do you think? Let's say it so the camera can hear you. Otherwise, they're not going to believe me. Here, Scar, try this.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's super, super soft, guys. Right? Try that. Super soft, guys. This came out really, really good. I'm going to continue to cut this up. Again, you cannot go wrong with brining it. I may have overcooked it a little bit, like right in these areas, because I was trying to get this part to come up. It was at 155. And that was already at 165. I probably would have been okay. I just didn't want to take a chance, but it is still super soft. It's juicy. I mean, it's just falling apart. Look, I mean, just falling apart. It's not what do you call it, like stringy or super pow, pop it or nothing. It just comes apart real easy. So, guys, look, then you can dip it in the little juice on the side. Look at that. So, one more bite. All right, everybody's waiting for it. I'm gonna cut it up, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining in. I hope I helped you guys out a little bit when it comes to how to work the IVS and how to brine and cook a turkey. Smoking it. I smoked this one at 300 degrees. I could have even gone to 250 to 275, and it probably would have been even juicier than this. But it's super, super juicy right now. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining in. Fatty's Barbecue. We will see you on the next one, and thank you for all your continued support.